What's a fun profession that's really hell if you've actually been in it? Any job with a nonprofit. You start working there because you want to be part of some worthy cause. Then you realize that the pay is awful, there's no advancement, and the politics are like every small family company, but worse. When you quit, they'll try to guilt you into staying, for the cause. Can confirm. Friend worked for a nonprofit, a small local one. The stories they relate of the politics, harassment, gaslighting, and infighting made it seem like an episode of Succession. But every day. Find a job doing something that you'll love, and you'll often find that you eventually have sucked all the joy from doing it. Doggy Daycare. It's mostly stopping them from eating each other's poop and constantly cleaning up said poop and mopping up pee. Very little dog interaction. Don't forget taking cute pictures of the dogs in stage settings and lying to the owners about how great they're doing. Most owners humanize their dogs. Most dogs don't care about having a TV to watch, ice cream, or a raised cot. They're happy to not be alone. A lot of doggy daycare dogs are dogs don't play, they just want to hang out. Owners don't like paying for their dogs to just not be alone. Anything that you enjoy as a recreational hobby. I've discovered that if you try to monetize it, you won't enjoy doing it anymore for very long after that. Can confirm. Loved fixing cars my whole life, figured I'd make a living doing it. Hated every second of it when I did it for money. I would literally get sick to my stomach thinking about going into work. Years later, after I finally changed careers, I found how much I enjoy it again. Stand-up comedy. You spend an insane amount of time watching and studying yourself, polishing your presentation and delivery, and telling the same jokes over and over again, relieved when there's an audience, because at least someone likes the jokes you've heard hundreds of times. Then, if you're successful and have a special or something, you agonize over the editing, watching yourself over and over again, deciding on what camera angles to use at which part. No thanks. I remember some commercial where Chris Rock turns on a TV and it's his stand-up. I would be like, no, I'm not watching this again. I work in theater, and have done plenty of shows where I didn't really realize it was a comedy that was actually pretty funny until there was an audience. Starring in a long-running Broadway show strikes me as the worst. The exact same thing, word for word, every night for years. At least in a factory job tightening bolts you can pass the time with the radio or talking to your coworkers. Working on film sets is a lot of fun, but it comes at a tremendous personal and health cost for below-the-line workers. It has long work hours, unpredictable employment, and a totally different way of life than most regular jobs. It will cost you your relationships outside of work and your health. It is absolutely a lot of fun to work on these sets. I would never want to do anything else, but it will absolutely ruin you. I don't understand how the industry has normalized 10 to 16-hour days, 5 days a week, 3 to 6 weeks in a row. As a sound tech, it was backbreaking and exhausting. Not for me. No offense to sound techs, but I always envy you guys at rap. You get to collect a few laughs, collapse your boom pole, hand over the files and skedaddle. I do grip and electric, and we always have a big push at the end there. All the heavy lifting we did at the start now has to be undone as fast as possible. My back and knees are getting progressively more fucked. And then even if you do everything right and start really killing it in the field, you're only a writer's strike and a streaming bubble burst away from your whole industry imploding in on itself and destroying your career. It's been a shitty 2 years. Accounting. Not nearly as sexy or exciting as it seems from the outside. I have to tell this to everyone who bumps into me and asks for tips to get into accounting. They need to look beyond the social status, the post-audit parties, the groupies, and the brightly colored audit pens. People think that it's all about fraud, money laundering, embezzlement, and arriving in a tropical tax haven by helicopter with a suitcase full of money, cool shades, a fashionable suit, and a double-cuff, open-necked shirt. That's 1 or 2 days a week tops for me. The rest is hard grind. All the accountants I know are either aggressively mundane or the most dryly hilarious person in the room, with very little in between. It's as if something about the work either purifies you or consumes you. I'm a travel writer. When I tell people that, they envision that I lead an exciting, jet-setting life. One wherein I have a ragged, stamp-filled passport tucked in a rucksack next to a dog-eared farmer's guide and a Moleskine journal crammed with maps, notes, and photos. And then I get to come home and spin up a rich narrative of satisfying adventures, unexpected delights, exotic foods, and moments of life-affirming connection with friendly locals and gorgeous scenery from all over the world. Nope. I sit at a laptop in a home office in a very cold state, and write and submit blog posts, ads and websites based on assets pre-supplied by clients I don't actually get to meet or visit. I've never once been flown to a single one of the stunning destinations I describe as such in order to try to entice other people to visit them. It's all just speculation. Still, overall, it beats digging ditches. And I get to write for a living in the age of AI. So I don't hate it. It isn't hell, per se. It's just way more Walter Mitty than Indiana Jones. Not what anyone expects. Also a travel writer, but at a local level. I do get sent places, usually within my home state. Getting wooed by hotel owners and event marketing staff is fun. Just got a sweet Yeti goblet from a marketing team. But you ain't whistling Dixie about the AI situation. I write for a publication, so I have little to do with marketing, but seeing obviously AI-created articles about the same places perform better despite being riddled with inaccuracies hurts my soul. My hope is that real people eventually get fed up with AI telling them the wrong things and lean into human-written pieces again. I've been a flight attendant for 24 years and I always get people who say, "Oh, I bet that's fun," and they think it's glamorous. I'm a waiter in a bad restaurant that can't throw out patrons who get too belligerent with me. To be fair, the travel is fun, and if I hated the job, I wouldn't have done it for so long. But the thing that's kept me here this long is that I'm in a union, and I have health insurance. The appeal, to my mind, is getting to fly to various places around the world. But I have no idea how much time you actually get in those destinations. Also, for every flight from New York to Paris, how many people are just doing Atlanta to Des Moines and back over and over again? Yeah, I'll usually get between 12 and 20 hours of rest, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I'm a flight attendant for an express carrier, which means that I'm going to the smaller regional airports first, so, like, Elmira, New York to Peachtree to DCA to CLT to OAJ can be one day of 4 for me. Also, I'm one of the few still working flight attendants who started on a turboprop airplane. I'm being a little misleading. The airplane was really a lot more modern than some of the mainline aircraft. Kids are told that engineers get to invent cool new technologies like Benjamin Franklin or whatever. Most engineers do paperwork, marginal continuous improvement stuff, and sit in meetings all day. You want to change your screw on a qualified design in the middle of a production build with units in the field? Yes, I'm in the field. We observed that that particular screw is unsuitable for long-term maintenance purposes, or will cost us millions in lawsuits alone, or whatever reason we are telling you, just please analyze the feedback and talk to us. Being a vet. Long hours, constantly overbooked and understaffed. You watch animals suffer and you often are contributing to their suffering in order to try and help them. Owners are often at best ignorant and not interested in being educated, and at worst genuinely couldn't care less about their animals. And if they do care, they don't have the money. So you get to run a constant mental calculus of how much you can afford to discount treatment to help them this month without getting fired, and while still being able to pay your techs, all while under the crushing burden of student loans, with the fun of a really bad day sometimes including a lawsuit, death threats, or physical violence. I have seen some vets online say they enjoy it, and I'm happy for you. I don't personally know a single one that doesn't regret their choice, and I know a lot of them. Disclaimer, either a vet nor in any medical field. It's horrible on so many levels, and the education is so demanding too. Human medicine is like, learn how this one mammal works and then ideally specialize in one part of it. Veterinary medicine then goes, fuck it, learn all the mammals, and reptiles and other shit. If it breathes, it's fair game. Looking at brachycephalic dog and cat breeds, shit, even if it doesn't breathe. At the same time, my experience with vets has been infinitely better than with physicians for humans. Most genuinely care and do the best they can. I was able to quit my job at a hospital and become my own boss by selling my art online for about 7 years now. It definitely sounds fun to work from home, sleep in, work your own hours, not have a boss, but the amount of people out there that will call you the worst dehumanizing names because their package, not delivered by me by the way, was delivered incorrectly is awful. I've been screamed at, sworn at, yelled at, threatened, letters even sent. And usually it's a 7.00 item that's been marked delivered but they didn't get, and it's actually been misplaced by a family member. Not to add, having to market yourself, the constant imposter feeling of feeling like your own creations aren't good enough. Worried every day if you can afford bills, the constant worry of you can still do this in 10 years, working 70-hour weeks to avoid 40-a-week jobs. The holidays, buying supplies, having to save money for taxes. Oh, and the isolation. It sounds good and is good if you're a social anxious person, especially after coming out of a drama-filled job. But trust me, even if you think you are not a people person, you might miss them after a while. I just miss the non-personal interactions, like watching others interact and then the occasion of seeing that one or two people I got along with. Knowing my co-workers and how they acted and what to expect from them. Just saying hi to co-workers, workers, or people asking how my weekend was. Sorry for long posts. Maybe I needed a vent more than anything, haha. What's a fun profession that's really hell if you've actually been in it? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.